Hi Leo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole. This is going to be a general reading for you for April 2026. And I hope you're all doing well. If you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you commented below and let me know that you just found me. Or if you're coming back for another reading, I want to thank you first of all for your support. And I'd love it if you subscribed, because it's really important that I get my message out to people. I think my message is, this is a healing channel. And so as some of you may know, I have been on my own intensive healing journey, healing my shadow, healing repressed memories from sexual abuse and trafficking in my own family. And I've been doing it intensively for 9 years. It'll be 9 years in April, actually. And so I work with a trauma coach, and out of my healing has come, different gifts for me along the way. And the first one was in 2020 when I was asked to, through a channeling, I was asked to put out a website. And it was a big mess during COVID. And I was working with somebody, and so I ended up getting a website made. And then I can see now in hindsight how that happened, because me coming through with carolecares.com, it allowed me to have that website. And so along the way, I've added Yellow Cardinal Tarot to it, where I offer personal readings, and that's on my website. And then now I'm a shamanic healer, and that's come up where the spirits have been calling me in the last year and a half, and have been, wanting to work with me. So I have taken shamanic healing practitioner course, intensive through the foundation of for shamanic studies. And I am continuing to take courses. And so if you're interested in a free 15-minute consultation, it's on the website, and you can go and look at my Red Snake Medicine page, where I offer you a free consultation, and we can talk about a healing and what it means, about what shamanism all about, if you're not familiar with it. And so there's that for you to look at. But I know that you're here for a reading. So let's get into your reading, and then we're going to start talking about April and how it's a very, very powerful month for you. And energetically, we have this fire horse energy this year. And then we also have a full moon in Libra on the 2nd of April. And then the 17th of April, we have 9 orbiting bodies, including 7 planets that are moving into Aries. And so we're looking at this Aries energy that's here for us. Like, I think it's something that really is. I follow Pam Gregory, an astrologer, on YouTube, and she said that she's never seen this before. It's incredible that we have so much energy right now to take our life in a new direction, and it may involve taking a risk. It may involve you being courageous, but it's like you're now ready to step out into the world and say, I am. This is who I am. And your authentic self is being asked to come forward. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to look at, what is your next step? And I'm going to ask for clarity around, maybe it's a career, it's a relationship. Sometimes that'll come up. Maybe you're physically, moving. I'm physically moving. I'm in the midst of trying to sell my home right now. Spiritually, maybe you're moving. Something's going on. You can feel it. And so we're going to look at that. So let's start the reading with, I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot. We're going to clarify with the Tarot of A.E. Waite. So what's your next step, Leo? What's your next step right now this month? What's coming up for you? 1 card for that. This one wanted 3 cards. Okay. So we have the 2 of Wands in reverse, the 2 of Cups, and the Empress card. Normally don't get 3 coming out like that. So, little story for you. Next, I want to look at what's blocking you from moving forward. It's very interesting in this healing journey when you try to make, it's anybody that wants to put themselves first and make a move. We often see people, that have big careers, but a lot of times in order to make that move, it requires us to remove the blocks, because we do often get this resistance or blocks to, we know what we want to do, we plan for it, and then we go to do it and it's like, something is coming up, and it's always something for healing. And so we're going to look at what's blocking you right now from moving forward, from taking this step right here. Well, you have the Knight of Swords in reverse and the World card in reverse. Cards are definitely wanting to speak, all flying out at me. What do you need to heal? So this is your block. It's coming up from your shadow. It's coming up from the unconscious. It's coming up from your childhood, from your adolescence. There's something here that's coming up for you to heal in order for you to take that next step. So what is it? What do you need to heal? What's sitting in your shadow that's coming up for healing? One card from that. Right, you have the Five of Wands in a sideways position. And what's the advice from the tarot? Because, when you heal something, sometimes we don't know where to begin. And so the tarot helps us in saying, okay, this is what you need to begin with. So this is what you need to begin with, is the Queen of Swords. Let's get some clarifiers. I think for this first one, I have 3 cards already, but I can ask for one more, for one clarifier for this. You have the Queen of Swords, which is interesting because she was sideways here. She comes in the end as well. So she's important in this reading because she's like a bookend to your reading. The Knight of Swords and the World card in reverse. Couple cards for that. 1 or 2 actually, doesn't matter. See if they'll want to give me one more card. Oop. Almost lost them all. You have the Six of Swords in the Six of Wands in reverse and the King of Pentacles. I used to mix up the wands and the swords all the time in my readings. And I knew what I was talking about, but I would say it was a wand, but I knew it was a sword in my head. Anyway, I don't think I do that anymore. The Five of Wands. I laugh, but it's not funny. When I discovered that I did that, I was like, ah. One more. Oops, here we go. Okay, so underneath the Five of Wands, you got the Hangman, and he's in reverse. He is in reverse, but he's in reverse. You know what I mean? He's in reverse. The card is. And the Ten of Swords. One of those cards that's weird, saying it's in reverse when he's already in reverse. Okay, the Queen of Swords. One came out quickly, and one more. Yes, your cards are talking, which is nice for me. One more card for this Queen of Swords here. Okay, here it is right there. Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups. Wow. Okay. Okay, so what's your next step? What's your next step, Leo? Well, you have the Two of Wands, and the Two of Cups, and the Empress. So let's start off with the Two of Wands. And you have this, looks like a woman that's looking at the world, right? In an upright position, and she's almost like she's dreaming. Maybe you've been dreaming about something. There's something that you wanted to do. Realizing that there's more to life, right? There's more than this little plant, like this little globe right here. It's like, what's out there? There's more out there, right? And so you've had this nudge for a while now, and you know what it is, because It's a general reading, but you've had this nudge for a while of you wanting to do this. And I'm seeing here if it's, yeah, there's like, I'm not sure if what it is. Like I said, I mentioned at the beginning, it could be anything about a career, a relationship, something spiritual for yourself, a move of some sort, right? But lately, there's some resistance to this nudge, and maybe you're doubting it, or you're in denial about it, or you've kind of pushed it away now. And so I imagine it's something that comes up every once in a while, and then it goes away, and then it comes up, and that's how you know that's really an intuitive decision. Because if it's really desperate and loud, and you feel like you have to do this, that's not your intuition. It's your ego self that's pushing you. But this seems like, there's something that it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes. And the Two of Cups is here. And so the Two of Cups talks about this intimate relationship, right? These two people that are clanging their cups, their emotions, right? And so I think this has been, an emotional journey for you. And the Two of Cups speaks about a real intimate relationship, and it's not talking about two people, it's talking about you. And so this is, I think, really been, and this is number 2, so it's the beginning. So I think this, because of this nudge here, it's really put you in a position where you're starting this. It's got something to do with really finding out who you are. You're at the beginning of this beautiful intimate relationship with you, and getting vulnerable with yourself. And I'm seeing here that there's like the Empress card comes behind that, and there's a lot of, the Empress card is the second half of the feminine archetype in the major arcane, and the Empress is all about emotions, about creativity. She lives through her emotions. She's not afraid to feel her emotions, right? She's very much in her body, very grounded. And so this whole first part here, your next step, it talks about this beautiful, intimate, beginning relationship that you're ready to embark on, to find out maybe who you are. It's maybe to find out who you really are, because you have this Queen of Swords as the one card that came out here for a clarifier. And the Queen is our feminine side. And as I said, you had a lot of feminine energy over here, and you start off with a lot of feminine energy here. So you have this beautiful feminine energy that's coming through for you, that's supporting you to find out who your authentic self is. The sword by itself, is the single sword, is your truth. It's your authentic self. And it's a beautiful feminine quality, your authenticity, right? And so I think you're getting ready. I think you're getting ready to step out into the world and to show the world who you are, and to really bring out that feminine side to you, right? Get really intimate with yourself and get to know you more. And so that's the next step. And so I think that's, like I said, it comes up, and you probably like, it's a scary feeling sometimes to have that, when it's like you're starting to go, well, I want to find out who I am. I really want to get to know me, right? It's a beautiful thing, but it also can be quite scary. And so I think that's where the resistance comes in, where maybe you get scared, it comes up, and it's like, maybe there's something spiritual you want to do for yourself. Maybe I want to do this, and it's got something to do with, more about getting to know who you are. And that means trying new things, and wondering, is this my intuition that's pulling me towards this? And so that's where you are right now. But then, Leo, we're going to look at what's blocking you from moving forward, right? Why do you keep doing these dips of going in and out of it? Well, you have the Knight of Swords in reverse and the World card in reverse. And the Knight of Swords, first of all, speaks about, it's called a freedom fighter. I call my knights the freedom fighters. They're the ones, it's the part of us that wants freedom, right? And I think there's this part of you that's really wanting this freedom to do what we were just talking about, right? That wants the freedom to go towards their authenticity, wants the freedom to just to be free and not be follow what other people say. I think you want to do this for you and it to be your decision, but it's in reverse here. So oftentimes when you've got this part that's pulling, right, and it has the sword again. So there's the single sword. You had the Queen of Swords right here, and then you get the sword right here, and then you end again with the Queen of Swords. And I'm going to say this reading is all about authenticity and finding out who you are, right? Getting to the bottom of everything. But because this Knight is in reverse, this tells me that I think there's some real anger that you're carrying. And oftentimes our anger sometimes can block us because I shouldn't say it can block us. I want to say that when you are able to release your anger in a very grounded way, and I do that through my journaling. I wasn't a person that was allowed to use my anger when I was younger. I was told to put that away and don't you ever take it out. And so I didn't. And so as an adult, it was very difficult for me to take my anger out. But when I started to use my anger, when I started to ground it in my journaling and get angry at people that hurt me when I was younger, it was my power. It was my absolute power when I could ground my anger. And it's in me now. I have my anger and I use it, but in a very grounded way. And so I think that you have some anger that's kind of sitting in you. Then and oftentimes we'll go, what? I have anger? But sometimes if you're one of those people that will lash out at people and when you don't want to and you don't mean to and unexpectedly it comes out, that tells you that you have anger and it's ungrounded. And behind it is the World card in reverse, and the World card is this beautiful ballerina, and again, this is what's blocking you. And so the World card speaks about I think it really talks about sort of a complete wholeness here. And I think that we already talked about there's a real big feminine pull here. To me, the World card, the last card in the deck, tells me that you have balanced out your feminine side and your masculine side. We all have both of those sides, but we need to balance them out. And so the fact that it's in reverse means there's some real imbalance here, and a lot of that has to do with this anger that you need to get to. And so what are the clarifiers here? Well, you have this Six of Wands in reverse. And there was a part of you that wants to be free. And so this Six of Wands talks about this individual that's coming back from a battle. And it looks like a real victory card, doesn't it? Looks like a real victory card here. But if you were to my sixes in my deck have a duality to them. And so this looks like it's a victory card. It looks like they've won. But the duality behind this is, what if you took off that green blanket? What's underneath there? What's been lost? What's been lost? And whatever's been lost is what you have not wanted to look at. This card is my grief card. I'm going to tell you the relationship between, and you have the anger sitting on top of the grief. That's where they sit right here. And that's what's blocking you, is your anger. Because once you get to your anger and you allow yourself to express your anger through journaling, like I do, there is another emotion that sits behind anger. Anger is a secondary emotion. It's a defensive emotion. It's the easy one out. If you think of males, right? Because we talk about the masculine side and the feminine side. Your feminine side's wanting to come out here. Your masculine side would be the anger. And once you get to that and you ground that anger, you're going to get to this emotion that's sitting behind it, which is the grief. And that's what you lost. So you've got this blocking it. You have some grief that you need to get to. It's like the anger prevents you from getting to it. But you got to get to that anger. That's what's blocking you. And the King of Pentacles comes in here. And the King of Pentacles, that's our masculine side. So here's your masculine side right now. And it's telling me that your ego self is blocking this anger. And that's what happens with, maybe you're somebody that has a lot of anxiety. Whenever I have a knight come out with a king, it tells me that there's anxiety here. Because what people don't realize is that anxiety really is anger that needs to come out. There's usually some emotion that's underneath it. Like I said, grief. There's usually a memory there. You've been triggered. Your anxiety gets triggered. And then we shut it down again, right? This ego self says, no, we got to shut this down. It's dangerous. You're not allowed to get to that anger, right? So I'm wondering if you were somebody when you were younger that was told, don't touch your anger. That's bad. It's a bad emotion. It's not allowed to have that. But it's so clear right here that that's what you need to get to, because there's some real grief that needs to come out. So what we're going to look at is, okay, so what do you need to heal? Why do you have this anger? Why do you have this grief that's sitting behind it? You know, what happened to you when you were younger? So I'm going to look at your shadow. I'm going to look at the unconscious. I'm going to look at, because what's driving you, what's driving and having the biggest impact on this block right now of you getting to your anger is what's sitting in your shadow. And I'm going to look at the first card, which is in sideways here, and it's the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is, I love this depiction of the Five of Wands. It's like, it looks like a mirror, doesn't it? It looks like this individual that looks in the mirror, but I know it's the Five of Wands, the wand, but I always look at it as he's looking in the mirror and he sees a totally different person. And maybe that's you. You look in the mirror and you see a totally different person. And this is myself, your inner critic card. I call this my inner critic card, you know? And I think when you were younger, or even now, you're a real inner critic. And your inner critic comes from what people said about you. What did people say about you when you were younger? What were you told when you were younger that you continue to believe? And our ego self will spin it in our head and keep telling us those things about you, that aren't true. But, this reading is, talking about authenticity. You've got this layer of authenticity going on. And I'm saying that when you were younger, the inner critic cards come out now, and I'm sure you're still criticizing yourself. So as a young child, you were told certain things and you believed them. So you lost your identity of who you really were. And when you're told those things when you're younger, well, you're going to get fucking angry at people, right? Like, they're telling you these things about you and you're angry, but you're not allowed to express your anger. So you've got this frustration and this grief inside of you that wants to get out. And that's what's going on with you right now. And I know that this inner critic is a big thing for you, this self-criticism, where you learned it from. Here's the Hangman when you're younger, and he's in reverse. And so in an upright position, the Hangman talks about somebody that's very comfortable in their skin. They're not afraid to hang upside down. They trust. They have trust. They trust people. I think you lost trust. You lost, you didn't trust people when you were younger. Things they told you. Also, this individual, is, when we're upside down, we see the world in a different perspective. We're pretty open, we're non-judgmental. When we are a real self-critic, and we also can become very judgmental of other people. That's just how it is. I was like that too, right? When you don't feel good about yourself and you're always judging yourself, you're going to judge other people as well. And so this is upside down here because you lost you lost the trust in other people. You lost the ability to be able to trust yourself. to be able to feel comfortable in your own skin. And these swords right here, I talked about the inner critic card and how you look at yourself and you tell yourself all these things. Here they are. These swords. This is number 10. This is the number 10 card, and the pips and the swords at the end. It's the end card, right? End of a cycle. This guy's done. He's done in. Can't take it anymore. This is from your shadow. Swords are your mental thoughts. These are the mental opinions from other people. Because your ego self will repeat them in your head. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You can't do that. What do you think you are? All those things that people told you, they did you in when you were younger. And so that's why you're angry. And so that's why you have all this grief. Because the stuff that you were told from other people when you were younger was not true. But you took it in because we are sponges when we're younger. But now you're going, this person that I've been living all my life, maybe it's not me. Maybe I want to find out who I am. And that's what you want to step into, your authenticity, you know, and you got to get to your grief, and you got to, you know, it's very important. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on anger. It's a good one. There's a few videos in there. There's a video on how to journal from your anger. And because I think you need to get at your anger. Find out how to ground your anger. We're going to look at the advice from the tarot. But I told you it was your feminine side here, right? So you start off with the authenticity. Your Queen of Swords, she comes out again right here. There's that sword of your truth. She's your feminine side. She's who you are. And that's so important that you grasp onto that sword and you take that Aries energy, you know, that fire horse energy, and you say, you know what? I'm going to show the world who I am. I'm going to step out and I'm going to find out who I am. And you're going to start to do that by getting in touch with your anger. And what is the universe giving you? Well, here's an Ace of Cups. What's the Ace of Cups? Well, it's the beginning. It's a new offer. It's a gift. It says, here's the cup. It's a cup of emotions. Look at all the emotions that are coming out of this cup. And one of those emotions is anger. And that's what you're going to get to. It's a new beginning to get in touch with your emotions, and in particular your anger and your grief. And you end with the Queen of Cups, because she's the feminine side to us, the Queen. And she's the one that has all this water flowing at her feet. She has the cup of emotion in her hand. And she has all this water. The water, it represents emotions. In every single card, in the deck is emotions. And she loves her emotions. They come to her, and she allows them to come in and process them. And once she feels them, she lets them go, right? Because you were taught to take this anger when you were younger, like myself. And we're not allowed to use it, so we're going to hold it in our body. Well, it's there to fester, right? We get sick when we hold our emotions in our body. And so here she is supporting you. All these to feel, to get back in your body and feel. And so I'm going to give you, like I said, I'll leave you with that playlist. You had a beautiful reading, Leo. So many layers of, you know, the authenticity and the emotions, and a lot going on here. If you feel that there's a lot going on, there is. And so I want you to have compassion for yourself or what you're working through. This is a very difficult journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important journey of your life. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.